Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Cynthia with Knits by Scent. Thank you for joining me on this pretty cloudy day that we're having here. But it's a mild day, which I'm really happy about that. So it's about 60 degrees, I think, today, and no wind. So I am not complaining. I just want to update you guys on what I've been up to, my whips, and talk about something that's changing a little bit in my yarn journey. So let's start with the whips first. I am still working on the twins 10 stitch blanket I had mentioned in my last video, and I have made a quick one for my coworker, and she really liked it. It's more of a travel size. I didn't have as much of that green yarn as I do the yarn for these two babies. So this one is the darker. I'm not seeing like one's for the boy, one's for the girl. They're just two different shades, two different colorways. It's so pretty. I'm glad that they're not like, oh, it's blue and it's pink or whatever, because some people are just not into that, you know? So these are neutral colors, which is great. This particular colorway is Pecan Fudge. Yeah, looks like it. This is from the Karen Sprinkle Cakes, the number 6. I've had this for forever, and glad to be putting it to use. So that's, oops. Let me just sit there for a second. I'll tell you what that little clankly noise was in a bit. And this one is the other one. So this one, I think it's I think I'm on the third excuse me, I think I'm on the third cake for this one. And this is the other one. And this colorway is called Birthday Cake. And you could probably see like the red and blue and greens and the different, what do you call, like sprinkles that you typically see in birthday cake flavor birthday cake or ice cream. And so, yeah, this is the other one. And again, other than the sprinkles of color in this, they're still like nice neutral colors. And then mom and dad can figure out who gets what, or they probably won't even care, and it's like, yay, blanket, it's cold. Yep, so that one is after 2 cakes. And I'm hoping still, I mean, it might happen, it's not guaranteed, but I'm hoping to get these finished by the end of December, or at least the early part of January, so I can get them to my friend, because the babies are due this month. It is December, by the way. It's what is today's date? I think it's the 10th. I don't know. When I'm not working, unless I have to take my father to a medical appointment, or myself for that matter, I'm like, I don't pay a whole lot of attention to the date. All right, so those are 2 of the whips, and my other one, oh, what did I do with it? Oh, it fell. Let me grab that. So when I went to Rhinebeck with my tribe, 3 of my friends from my knitting group, the only actual yarn that I purchased, and unfortunately I do not know what happened to my the wrap that it was in. I just know that the red and black is a red, the black. They were half skeins, and the little booth shop owner had said that it's enough to make a hat, which is perfect, because I do believe I mentioned this before. My grandson, one of my grandsons, his favorite color is red and black. I wish there was a white, or I had thought to get a white, and I may have to add like a number 3, like a DK maybe, to it, just to kind of break it up. It won't be a lot of white in it. It's gonna be mostly these 2 wools. And the reason why I wish I had the tag is because I don't remember what kind of wool it is. It's not merino. It may have some merino in it because it is soft. It's a little soft. The black feels a little bit more coarse as I'm working it up, but it's not itchy, which is nice. And I hope he said he's got locks, but he's got like poofier locks than my hair. So I don't think the hat is actually going to bother his skin. So, and like I said, it's not even itchy. I don't know what the microns are. So I'm learning a lot of terms, which I'm going to explain in a minute. All right. I'm looking down at my list because I wanted to make sure I just cover what I wanted to talk about today. So, there's some yarn missing. It's not missing. And if I show you the closet, you'd be like, whoa, were you that busy? No, I was not. I actually released some of my stash to my bonus daughters and to a co-worker's daughter. I have added something to my yarn journey and I didn't think I would like it. And I shared that when I first tried this thing, I was like, ugh, I don't like it. Well, I'm singing a whole new song about that. But, so basically I'm starting to spin my own yarn and I mean, it's not like I can ever spin so much yarn to replace like all the yarn I have here. That is just like, no, that's not going to happen. It would take a very, very, very long time. So I still have quite a bit of yarn for like when I want to make blankets. I still really enjoy making blankets and bigger shawls. And yeah, so anyway, I wanted to part myself from a lot of the yarn that I had. So my two bonus daughters, I had taught them how to crochet. And then they did a lot. I would say probably like, I don't know, maybe 50-50. Like I told them the basics, put it that way. The very basics to get started. And then they just took it from there. Whether it's YouTube probably, or if they hooked up with somebody else, like my oldest one is in college. My oldest bonus daughter, she's in college. So I don't know if she met other people in college that crochet. I don't think so. But either way, they're still into the craft. And that's exciting to me. I love that. And my daughter, my youngest daughter is still very much into the craft. She does the loom knitting and she still has an abundance of the abundance that I gave her already. So, yeah, so I prided myself with that. And then, like I said, one of my coworkers, her daughter, who's she's a teenager, like she's like 13 or so. I don't even know if she's that old, but either way, she still loves to crochet and she's like making a blanket. And when she told me that, I was like, oh, because I asked her, I was like thinking like, who can I give the yarn to? And yes, I can. And there's yarn that I will also donate, but there are some that I just wanted to like gift to, people, specific people. So I asked her, I was like, so how's your daughter's yarn stash? And she's like, yeah. I was like, well, and she told me like she wants to make a blanket or she's working on making a blanket. I said, well, I have yarn that can help with that. And I think she just uses like, the regular red heart, that type of stuff. So I just grabbed, I had a big Michael's, like one of those red reusable like canvas bags. And I just opened the closet and I just started pulling and stuff. I don't even know how much it was. And it doesn't even matter. I'm glad to pass it on to people that I know will definitely use it. So, like I said, I still have quite a bit because I do have projects that I want to do with it. So, I love spinning. I love spinning. When I first learned, which I told you like a couple of months ago, back in the summer, spring, summer, when my friends and I took a class, and actually the three that went to Rhinebeck with me, or we all went together, they already know how to spin. But there was a couple of us in that group and in my weekly, twice a month group. We don't know how to spin. And we're just like, oh, let's go check it out. And the teacher, she knows how to spin, but I didn't like it. I'm like, I'll never do this again. Well, I was wrong. Because I have started spinning, and what you see here are bobbins. I actually had these bobbins from a different project when I was trying to do tapestry crochet and like having the bobbins to change the colors and all that. And that's still a little thorn in my side too right now, but that's okay. So, but the bobbins are coming in handy because when you make your yarn, see, I made yarn. This one's very thin. Actually, it's thin, but it's so strong. Look at that. I made that. You don't have to ply the yarn if you don't want to. Like this is, when I did the wraps per inch, it turns out to be a DK weight. And it's not perfect, but this looks really good. But it's better to ply the yarn so that it makes it stronger. And I wasn't going to ply this, but I decided like maybe I will. Now, when I finally started loving it, it was after my friend Claire, who's part of our little 4-person tribe. She took the time to teach me how to do the drop spindle, how to use this drop spindle. This is the first one I have purchased. And yes, look at that yarn on there. This is going to be part of my, a real project. And I actually have a second one of the exact same thing coming because yes, I can take it off, but I'm going to see if I can get a little bit more on there. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I digress. So she taught me how to use the spindle. And I think oops. Oh, this button here. Okay, this one I dropped spindle. I'm sorry, I was trying to figure out which is which because when I was first starting, I was just really focusing on getting the hang of spinning the spindle, and I was actually spinning it the wrong direction on this one. So rule of thumb is then I heard another rule later and I'm like, oh, whatever. But most people, for their single ply, when you're just making one, you're going to spin it clockwise. And then when you're combining two spindles or spools of yarn, you do counterclockwise. So one's S, one's Z. Z is the counterclockwise, S is the clockwise. And for this, I was just more focused on getting the spinning, trying to working on a little bit more of consistent. And then even this, you could probably see, actually might be better if I kind of like undo it just a little bit. Okay. So you can see like it's not all the same. And this one has like some specks of color in there. I got this from Rhinebeck, actually, from CC Wool. And I was just like, now I've been practicing spinning for a few weeks now. And I just took a tiny bit and I started spinning with it. And I was like, oh my word, this wool is like butter. It's so lovely. It's so soft. And it's very easy to spin up. And I had two different colorways, as you can see. One's kind of like a white and other one's like a lighter gray. That, yeah, I ordered more. But like I said, so this is going to be part of a real project that I'm going to talk about a little bit in a bit. So I have been practicing, and you know, when I was at Rhinebeck, there was no wine involved, at least not for us. I had bought this Nano 2E spinner, and I was developing a love-hate relationship with it. But I would leave it alone when I get frustrated with it, and then like work on like spindles and then come back to it. And so I can actually show you what I did today on it. So I'm getting better because it takes practice. So the hardest part about this thing was getting, and it's really soft, kind of like fluffy yarn, getting the yarn that you're spinning to uptake onto the bobbin. And you know, you have to find that sweet spot, one for your skill level and the other for the wool that you're spinning. And so for this wool, which I don't even know what it is, I had just ordered some packs from because it was inexpensive. I don't care if it gets messed up. because I'm just learning, right? I got this from, I think, Temu for a few bucks. And it's just different colors. And I kind of like blended it together and kind of prepared it for spinning. And so, yeah, so I'm starting to like it more. But I really do like the drop spindles. And like I do with a lot of things, I don't buy just one. I mean, just like buying one crochet hook or one set of, or one pair of knitting needles. No, no. We're not going to talk about that today. But I promise you, I will share my different spindles with you and my progress. So I love it. It's so relaxing. It's so relaxing. One day, I don't know when, it's not this coming year, not likely. Although if I save up my pennies for it, more like dollars, I would like to get a treadle spinner. But I have plenty to start with. So, because the thing I have to think about with that, even if I got a small fold up one or whatever, I still have to store it and have a place to comfortably use it and whatever, etc., etc. So right now, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, other than say that I really am enjoying the spinning process. I've made a couple, like this is more like a practice yarn. I blended the colors together. Some are blended, some are not. It's kind of like this change of things. And I may just actually, I still might crochet this up or knit it up just to see what it looks like with I did here. So this is some more. This was like the first bat of wool. I think this is, I got this from a yarn, matter of fact, where we had the class, which is not that far from us in a place called Manassas. I think it's either Shetland or, I think it's Shetland, this wool. It's a little coarse. But anyway, so I was just like, yeah, how does it crochet up? So this is a little swatch. And if you look close enough, you can see like some of them are like so tiny threads and some of them are thicker threads. You know, and it's not plied. This is just a single ply. But hey, I made this yarn. I'm proud of it. Yeah, and I think this one, this was from a drop spindle. I wrote on the spool so I could remember if it came from a drop spindle or not. In part because I do want to ply it up just for, if nothing else, practice and see what it looks like. But the drop spindle... the drop spindles I know I did in Z, and the I think this one came off the E spinner. Whoop. Oopsies. Back on there. Oh, I didn't write on this one. Oh yeah, yes I did. S. So this one came off the E spinner. So it did get some uptake. It just takes practice and getting your like with everything, with crochet and knitting, you have to think about your tension when you're drafting. So there's a whole new vocabulary that I'm learning with this spinning business. But it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I really like it. And there are a lot of videos, like with everything else in the yarn world, out there, tutorials on how to spin, whether it's with a drop spindle, a supported spindle, an E spinner, a treadle spindle spinner. There are lots of folks out there. I will tell you, probably the one person I watch a lot, her name is her channel is Soulful Spinning. Her name is Lisa, and some of her videos go back. I think she's been on the channel, I think she said 7 years, and I've seen videos as far back as 4 years at least. First of all, I love listening to her, and her channel is very educational. She talks a lot about the different wools and where they come from and how they spin up and all kinds of stuff. And she's very like mellow, and I really like that. She's not, you know, some people like the loud and excitement and stuff, and I mean there's a time and a place, and to each his own. But even some of them, like they just have a lot of excitement in their voice, and there's nothing wrong with that. Um, and I can still learn from them, and I have. So it's really interesting to see different perspectives, and we're talking people of different age groups. Um, Young, I don't know if they're teenagers or just very young adults. I can't tell, and it doesn't really matter. And then some that are more senior, more seasoned, right? So I have learned a lot from different people on how to spin, how to prep your wool for spinning. There's different methods of that. I don't have what's called a carding, that drum thing with all the little spikes. They're not called spikes, they're called something else. And I did get a blending board to blend my different color yarns together to, just to see what it looks like. It's fun. It's fun. It's another way to be creative with yarn, or in this case, with wool to make the yarn. And another person I listen to is Jillian Eve. She also does a lot with education and the different wools and stuff like that. I listen to them and watch them a lot on YouTube, and then just other I don't know, people that come on JK spinning. I don't know if it's JK spinning or JK yarn or something, but anyway, there's lots of folks out there that you can watch on YouTube and learn how to spin if you're interested. Now, I will tell you this: you can get a nice little starter kit from Etsy. I do like Etsy. I hate the shipping, but it is what it is. Because sometimes you want to order something, say it's $12 and the shipping is like $5, and it's like, ugh. But or if you choose to go to Amazon, whatever works for you. But you can get a nice starter kit from Etsy. There are a lot of small businesses that are out there, and I like I was saying, I do like Etsy in the sense of supporting a small business. But I don't remember which Etsy store I got my spindle from. I like the spindle. But it came with super merino wash wool, and it's very slippery. And every person that I've listened to as far as beginning with spinning on a drop spindle, which is actually recommended before going to even an e-spinner or a shuttle spinner, is merino wool is slippery. It's hard to get started on it. It wants to break you. It makes you frustrated, and that was part of my problem. So I would try to, if you decide that you want to give it a shot and it won't cost a lot of money. Like, you can get a kit with a spindle and some wool that's not super merino wash wool for like maybe $23, something like that, because you're also getting wool, right? And that's not bad. Matter of fact, I ordered some today, and it's coming with, I'm getting another spindle. Not that I need another spindle, but it made more sense to get 4 ounces of wool. So by the way, what is 4 ounces of wool? Let me show you. Hang this up here. This is from Rhinebeck also, and this is Shetland. This is in a braid. But sometimes, and so this is what they call a top, because it's already been combed out. You can actually just spin straight from this. This is the tip you want to take out, I think. Or is it this tip? One of these tips. This is going to be a project, so that's why I'm not messing with it. So pretty. Anyway, so you can... this is 4 ounces. That's what I was talking about. This is 4 ounces of wool, which is a lot. It's a lot. And you get a spindle, and it was like $23, and then plus $5 for the shipping. Then I thought, well, I don't really necessarily want another spindle. What if I just get 2 sets of wool, which is like $12 if you want just the 4 ounces of wool, or however many you want. So actually, I was going to order 2, so basically 8 ounces of wool. And of course, that's like $24, but the shipping was like $10. I'm like, what? So I didn't want to do that. But I did want the wool because it's so pretty. And I probably will go back to that shop and just bite the bullet. at some point. But right now I have some nice wools to start with for projects. So I have to try not to go bananas. You know what I do. You know how most of us do, right? If you're into this, some people are really, really good. And Lord, I wish I was that restrained and disciplined to, isn't that pretty? This is from Jillian Eve. To only purchase wool or yarn for specific projects. I don't know how to do that. I'm working on it though. I'm working on it. And so this is also from Jillian Eve also. And I'm just going to say in general, these are not my favorite colors, right? In general. But there's some other colors and they come as, let's see if I can take these out. Like little individual, I guess I could do it right here. They're just kind of like, you know, wound up into a cute little ball. I broke that apart because I was using it to blend some wool together. So you can do that. And then I just put it on my blending board. And actually that's what, let's see. The only thing I'm going to tell you one thing I don't particularly like about getting wool from her. And I'm going to tell you in a minute. So this is a Russian drop spindle. Support spindle, excuse me, not a drop spindle. And support spindles means you have something to support it. And let me see if I can do this in the air. It spins. And let me tell you something. You would think, because there's no tip thing, there's a method to doing this, that this would be harder than this, and it wasn't, which shocked me. But anyway, I don't want to get to the spindles too much because I want to do separate little things about that. But so you know, animals have smells, and part of Jillian's process is to help get rid of the smell, like when she's going to be chipping it or whatever, is that she soaks the wool and stuff in vinegar to help get rid of the animal smell. The problem is, because when I first, and the funny thing is I had ordered the wool from her, because I think a thing popped up like something about a sale or whatever, and I was like, oh, and I looked at what she had, and I saw that the teal, and like, that's so pretty, like that's gonna be something. Probably a shawl, most likely. And so I ordered it, and then I opened it up. I was like, why does it smell like vinegar? And then I happened to see the video that happened to pop in my my feed, and I forget which one it was, but she said part of her, it was like how she processes her wool and stuff. And then she said, you know, to help eliminate the smell, the animal smell, after you still have to wash it and process it and all that kind of stuff. She does soak it in vinegar, and I was like, oh, that's why. I'm not a fan of that. Sorry. It's unfortunate. So, but I always do wash my projects anyway. After I, you know, crochet them and whatever, and then with part of the process when you make yarn is that you do soak it again. You do give it. I guess you don't have to, but ideally you want to like help the yarn to set. Just like when you make a project, whatever it is that you make, your shawls and hats and whatnot, you usually tend to block it, and sometimes it's a you put it in something mild soap and give it a little wash and whatever, and you block it. Well, when you're making the yarn, it's recommended that you can wash it and let it go through the process, and there's lots of videos on how to do that. And then you so that the yarn will set and be tough enough to like handle the knitting and the crocheting or weaving or whatever it is that you're gonna do with it. So I can't wait to share some of this process with you, like my journey, because I don't know. I am like absolute beginner, right? I've never done this before until, well, in the last few weeks. And I don't know if I told you guys this. This just kind of reminded me of something. When we were at Rhinebeck and we went to Untangled, which was on Friday, and I had on my shift shawl and the hat, and I was talking to one of the ladies at one of the booths, and I had said, I forget what we were talking about, but I had said that, you know, I'm a big beginner. I'm still like, I consider myself still a beginner knitter. And even though I've been knitting for a while, I really just got more into it this year. But when I told her how I just basically modified the shift shawl pattern for my hat and figured out how to make the stitches rise, like, you know, like to be the bumps like you do for like it is for the shawl. She goes, "Ma'am, I'm sorry, but you're not a beginner knitter anymore. You can't." No, I was like, okay, okay, thank you. um, so that's just how I saw myself. But I no longer could call myself a beginner knitter at all. I would say maybe I would say intermediate, slightly advanced, slightly, because there's still a whole lot that I don't know that I look at. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. But anyway, I digress. But the spinning, I'm definitely new at, and I'm loving it. I really am loving it. I honestly, right now, I can say I'm enjoying the hand spinning with the spindles more so than I am with the e-spinner. And I think I'm sure I will continue to use this. I made a little investment in it. I'm going to use it. But I think when I start to ply the yarns together, this is probably going to get quite the workout to do that. And I'm okay with it. This is a smaller one. They have, there's different brands, by the way. It's this particular one. I think this might be the third edition for this particular company. I don't know, but I know there's my friend Claire, the one that taught me how to do the drop spindle. She has one, but I think she has the first one, like the buttons and stuff and the power stuff is slightly different. So she also helped me with that too. She's great. So anyway, so that is what I have been up to. And I do want to say that, so what you heard was the little clunking were the spindles. I would try to, like the way my camera is set up, I'm a little nervous about moving it. But I have different spindles. Yeah, all right, so let me see. So these are top whorls. This one's heavier. This one's good for, you can just use this one, but for plying, it's good to have a heavier and a bigger one because you're going to be basically putting two things together on one spindle. So this is a top. Those are tops. And then I have 4 bottom whorls. Yes, I said 4. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. You'll understand. I just got this one. Look at that. This one actually, it doesn't come, that's the only thing. Only one of my, so this could be a support spindle. Actually, I think technically it is, but it doesn't come with a support. So I'm just going to borrow my little block here. And it spins and spins and spins and spins. And this is another one. That's pretty. That's the bottom. I'm going to use that little block. I have a friend of mine from my knit group that does, she makes all kinds of like clay things, you know, and she has a kiln. So I asked her if she can actually make me another support, because you can get them in ceramic, glass. You can use almost anything, quite frankly. One person was talking about the different types of supports you can use. This one came with this is, you know, the Russian support spindle. This came together. Oops. Ah. And normally you would not do this in the air as I am. So I asked her if she can make a ceramic one for me, or 2 actually. And let's see, this beauty right here, this is called a gallon. Yes, I have yarn on there already. Let's see if I can show you that. Isn't that party. Purple's my favorite color, but I really like this teal one. It's really sharp edge too. And that's, this is like for, they say like you could spin cotton, which is not exactly the easiest thing to do from my understanding, or lace or whatever. And this also comes with a hook. Yeah, as soon as I get my spindles, I usually like, let me try them out. Yeah, and last but not least, I saw this on Etsy. This is a cute little, this is more the yarn that I had blended together. So I have a lot of bottom whorl spindles. Just like them. But this one is also support. It's kind of hard because because it's little and I'm holding it in my hand and I don't want to adjust my camera. But basically, it's the same thing. You just kind of spin it and let it do its thing. It's too little to hang on there. So, and then one more, and this is actually an A-drop spindle. It is a bottom whorl and it's called a Turkish spindle. So you can use it with a base if you want. Or that's normal. It's not broken because it comes apart. So basically, I will be sharing these things with you again. I did have yarn on here and I took it off. It wasn't much. I don't remember what the heck I did with it. But it actually forms a center pull yarn, which is pretty cool with this Turkish spindle. So yes, that goes inside like that. Or to store it, you can actually just take it apart like so and put it away. All right, and then again, we have the nano. That's enough. All right, y'all, I have been talking enough. So that's my update. I do hope to be doing more videos, especially as I go through the spinning journey, and also just my whips. And so right now, like I said, I have the 2 blankets and the hat. Those are the 3 things I'm working on right now. Actually, I probably will add, I know I'm going to add a 4th to the mix because I want to make something for one of my coworkers. She's just one of my favorite people. So I don't know if it'll be ready by Christmas, but it's just going to be a shawl of some sort. Not some sort. I have an idea of how I want to make it, and I want to actually use this prism yarn. Come here. Oh, jeez. This was a Mary Maxim purchase. And these are like her colors. This is really nice yarn. Jeepers creepers. Don't be falling on the floor. It's really soft. It's let's see, it's a number 3. And I just have to decide if I'm going to knit or if I'm going to crochet it's going to be a wrap for her. And part of me is thinking, because I have some alpaca yarn that I've had for a while, and I literally thought about this last night. So the 10-stitch blanket, whether it's on a loom, or actually, I might not ever do it on a loom again until I can't knit anymore. But doing on knitting it is, now that I know how to do it with knitting 2 needles, I'm loving it. So I want to make a, basically not a blanket, but a wraparound shawl for myself. And I'm thinking about doing the same thing for my friend. And it's just going to be, you know, a very long center panel. And then, you know, you do the one whole rectangle. And depending on where you start, hopefully, because it's going to be kind of long, it's still going to take some time. But at the same time, you're going to do the width and the length and the width essentially at the same time. And then, boom, it should be done. That's my plan. We'll see how it goes. So I just have to make that decision and get started on that because I want to. All right. For real, y'all, I'm done talking. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you like my video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you want to know when I post my next video, subscribe. I don't have a consistent schedule. I'm not this is not my bread and butter, if you will, and cool for those who can do that. I kind of wish I could do that, but I do have a full-time job. So anyway, I will post as frequently as I can to keep you guys, just to bring you on my journey, bring you on my journey with me. Okay.